You've been taught to look outward for power, for permission, for healing. You've been taught that life is something that happens to you, a series of collisions and chances, random winds blowing through the vast corridors of existence. And yet, if you are still enough quiet, enough long enough, you will feel it. A pulse beneath the noise, a current that moves not from outside in, but from within, rippling outward. This is the hidden current, the inner compass, the first movement. Cause precedes effect, not only in science but in soul. And when we speak of cause in spiritual terms, we are not speaking of action alone. We speak of thought, of belief, of state, of frequency. The Kabbalion whispers, every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. And so you are not a passive observer, nor merely a participant. You are the initiator, the quiet artist behind the canvas of form. Imagine a lake at dawn, still, untouched. A single drop breaks its surface, gentle, nearly invisible. Yet rings begin to form, spreading and touching the distant reeds at the shore. Life is like this. What appears in the world events, meetings, illnesses, blessings are the rings. But the drop, that is you. That is your consciousness. In this sacred recognition, a deep breath returns to the soul. You remember. You are not at the mercy of chaos. You are not fated by the winds of history or the tides of other people's moods. You are the first movement, the origin. Many will say, but I didn't choose this pain. I didn't want this illness. I never asked for this heartbreak. And it is true, consciously, we rarely do. But the law of cause and effect does not wait for conscious approval. It responds to vibration, to belief, to the quiet incantations whispered by your mind and heart over time. This is not blame, it is invitation. To awaken, to begin again, to become aware of the deeper dialogue always unfolding between you and the cosmos. Quantum mystics speak of particles that change based on observation. Hermetic sages spoke of the universe as a great mind, reflecting the thoughts impressed upon it. In both we find the same truth, as within so, without. So pause. Feel the breath enter your lungs. Ask yourself, what vibrations am I offering to the unseen? What frequencies do I cultivate silently? Fear, doubt, or trust, surrender, gratitude. These are not passive states. They are the first movement, the drop, the cause. In the journey of spiritual healing, nothing matters more than this recognition. The shift begins not with the body, not with the world, not with the other, but with the one looking through your eyes right now. And that shift begins in stillness, in choosing to notice, to witness your own internal weather without shame, to become aware of your invisible offerings to the field of life, and then to offer something new. Try this before sleep tonight. Speak to yourselves with reverence. Whisper to your soul with gentleness. Imagine sending waves of harmony into your own being, as if you are the healer and the healed. Do not demand instant change. This is not mechanical. It is alchemical. It works in layers like the slow blooming of light beneath the surface of dawn. If you remember nothing else, remember this: the cause is not out there. It never was. The hidden current begins with you. Every seed is self-planted, not always with intention, but always with vibration. The universe is not fooled by words. It does not respond to surface declarations, but to the music beneath them, the true frequency of your being. When the Kabbalion speaks of cause and effect, it is not speaking only of grand gestures or spoken choices. It speaks to the silent architects, your beliefs, your habitual emotions, the thoughts you repeat so often they've become prayer. You are always planting, every moment. The question is not whether you are shaping your reality, but how. Consider the gardener. She walks out each spring, hands deep in the soil, dropping seeds with purpose. She knows what will grow, not because she commands the flowers, but because she knows what she has planted. No gardener drops thornbush seeds and waits for roses. Yet in life, we do this often. We plant with fear and expect peace. We sow with resentment and await love. We cultivate chaos and hope for rest. But the Hermetic student awakens, slowly, gently. They begin to notice not only what they feel, but what those feelings are planting. They begin to see that every recurring thought is a seed, every emotion a rain or drought. Spiritual healing begins when you return to your garden, not to control the plants, but to tend to the planting. Let's go deeper. Think of your body not as a fixed form, but as a landscape of frequencies, rivers of light and memory flowing through cells. Illness, in this view, is not punishment. It is feedback. It is the echo of a seed planted long ago, perhaps in ignorance, perhaps in trauma, perhaps in an ancestral moment, passed down like an unspoken song. But every garden can be tended. Every field can be restored. Spiritual alchemy does not deny the past, it transmutes it. It begins with this humble act, noticing the seeds. Watching what you say, not only to others, but to yourself. Observing what you accept, allow, normalize. Asking, is this thought a rose or a thorn? Is this belief nourishing or depleting? Let us return to metaphor. Imagine that every time you think I am not enough, a small gray weed takes root in your field. Alone, it does little. But over years, those weeds crowd out the flowers. Now imagine you pause, breathe, and choose a new thought. Not artificial, but sincere. Something like, even now, I am worthy of love. That thought plants a new seed, one of light, of healing, of gentle revolution. This is not a performance, not an affirmation plastered over fear. This is deep tending, patient gardening of the soul. Real life reflection. There was once a man who believed he was cursed. Nothing in his life flowed. Health failed. Relationships ended. Finances dwindled. In time, he met a teacher, not one who healed him, but one who asked questions. What do you believe about love? About yourself, the teacher asked. Slowly, the man uncovered a belief buried deep from childhood. Nothing good stays. It had become his blueprint. He did not fix this belief overnight, but he became its witness, its observer, and as he watched it began to dissolve, new truths emerged like shy seedlings. Love can be safe. Life supports me. Healing is possible. Within 2 years, the man's life softened. He felt held. He got well, not by magic, but by alignment, by replanting the field. Practical path. Tonight, write down 5 thoughts you think often, especially in quiet. Be honest. Then look at each one. Ask yourself, if this thought is a seed, what is it growing? Then write 5 new thoughts, honest, kind, believable, that plant what you actually desire. Say them aloud, not like spells, but like sacred seeds. Feel them. Water them with your attention daily. You are not the result of your past seeds alone. You are the gardener now. The moment you become aware, you begin again. There is no punishment in this law, only reflection. There is no shame in past sowing, only insight. The universe does not judge, it reflects. So pause, breathe, plant again. The world you see is a mirror wrapped in soundless song. And everything you touch, feel, struggle against, or rejoice in each one is an echo, a reverberation through the invisible. The Hermetic axiom speaks clearly, as above, so below, as within, so without. But we must not take this as poetic fancy alone. This is law. This is function, and most importantly, it is the map of your freedom. When you gaze upon your life, you are not merely seeing it, you are hearing it echo, like a sound you sang long ago returning from the canyon walls. What we call reality is but the after-image of cause, the slowed-down residue of internal movement. Your relationships, your body, your mood, your patterns, they are not random. They are the outward signature of your inward state. In truth, healing does not start with the body. It finishes there. The wound begins in mind, in belief and vibration. The body speaks what the soul has stored. Imagine you hold a tuning fork in one hand. Strike it and it vibrates. Now place it near another tuning fork of the same frequency and it begins to hum without touch. This is resonance. Now realize you are the first fork. Your internal state hums and life hums back. What we do not heal, we repeat. And what we do not recognize, we relive. But this is not cruelty. It is compassion at its most mysterious level. For the universe loves you too much to allow you to stay in forgetfulness. It echoes you back to yourself so you may awaken. Let's reflect through a lived moment. There once was a woman, kind and talented, who continually found herself abandoned by friends, by lovers, even by business partners. She began to believe the world was cruel or that she was cursed. But after deep reflection, she saw a thread. Early in life, she was taught that love must be earned and abandonment was inevitable. This belief, embedded in her inner field, hummed like a silent note. She feared abandonment so much, she expected it, and expectation is vibration. She did not want these outcomes, but her field resonated with them. And so, life in perfect compassion mirrored her belief, not to harm her, but to awaken her. The mirror is not always kind, but it is always just. When she began to truly believe she was lovable without proving, when she retuned her emotional core, the pattern broke. Not because the world changed, but because her inner frequency did. You see, when we attempt to shift outer results without inner recalibration, We walk in circles. We ask the mirror to smile first. We change our posture, hoping the reflection will alter, unaware that it already does, but only in response. What then is the path? It begins in silence, in presence, in watching your reflections without flinching. What recurring patterns appear in your life? What themes knock at your door again and again? Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this showing me about me?" This is not self-blame, it is self-liberation. The moment you see the echo for what it is, you are no longer its prisoner. You become its interpreter, its transformer, and the practice. Begin with one echo. Choose one pattern, perhaps in health relationship or money that recurs. Write it down. Then ask, what is this echoing? Go inward. What belief underlies this? What emotional frequency feeds it? Then sit with that answer. Don't rush. Don't judge. Witness it as the loving echo it is. Then choose a new note, slowly, gently, not forcefully, but faithfully. For example, if the echo is, "I am always left behind," perhaps the frequency is unworthiness. Your new note may be, "I am deeply valued, even in solitude." Repeat it not only in word, but in breath, in posture, in how you speak to yourself. The outer world may not change instantly, but the echo will begin to soften. Life will adjust as it must, because the reflection always follows the gaze. Do not try to smash the mirror. Smile into it. Let life show you where you still vibrate in fear, not to shame you, but to set you free. There comes a moment, quiet, unceremonious, when the soul whispers enough, not with anger, not with force, but with a sacred resolve that grows not from resistance, but from remembrance. This is the alchemy of the turning point, when you shift from merely observing the patterns to choosing something new. When you stop reacting and begin responding as the cause. We often think transformation arrives like thunder, but it arrives like breath. Subtle, intentional, conscious. In Hermetic terms, this is the moment you cease to be the pawn of cause and effect and become its master. The Kabbalion says the wise ones serve on the higher planes, causing effects instead of being swept along like pawns. What does this mean for healing? It means you stop waiting for the pain to end. You begin offering new patterns in spite of the pain. You stop negotiating with fear. You begin embodying safety, even when it's not guaranteed. You become cause while still surrounded by old effects. Imagine this like steering a great ship. The currents of your past momentum still push against the hull. Your body still carries echoes of old beliefs. Your relationships reflect former scripts, but your hand is on the wheel now. And you've turned it, even if the vessel has yet to respond. In that moment, you are free. The external may still tremble with old vibrations, but the internal has shifted. And since all is mind and the universe responds not to history, but to frequency, the tides will follow. They must. Let's ground this in life. A woman diagnosed with a chronic illness sat with a healer who did not try to fix her. Instead, the healer said, "What do you believe this illness means about you?" The woman wept. "That I am broken," she said. That belief was the hidden current. The illness was its echo. So they began to shift, not the illness, but the meaning. Each day, she whispered new truths to herself. My body is a vessel of love. Even now, I am whole. This is my rebirth, not my punishment. She didn't stop her treatments, but now she walked them with different eyes. She spoke to her cells as if they could hear. And perhaps they could. Over time, her body changed. But more importantly, she changed. The alchemy was real. Alchemy, after all, is not about turning lead into gold. It is about transmuting vibration, about lifting the frequency of your being until even the leaden parts of life begin to shimmer with new light. And so the path is simple, though not always easy. Recognize the pattern. What echo is repeating? Reveal the belief. What inner law is it responding to? Reclaim your power. Choose a new truth, even if softly at first. Repeat it in frequency through thought. Feeling action presence. Release the outcome, not to apathy, but to trust. This is the sacred process of recausation, of becoming the philosopher's stone that transforms all it touches, not by effort, but by essence. You are not here to fix the broken. You are here to awaken the whole. Not to wrestle with shadow, but to shine so brightly that shadow forgets itself. Let this be your experiment. For 7 days, walk as if every thought is planting. Every emotion is singing. Every act is casting. Begin your day not with what will happen to me, but what will I cause to arise in my field today. It may feel subtle, invisible, but so is wind, and yet it shapes entire landscapes. The moment you shift internally, not through force, but sincerity, the external begins to tremble, not in fear, but in readiness, because all creation awaits its creator. And that creator is you. There is a rhythm that returns when you live in alignment with cause, not a rhythm dictated by the clock or by outer demands, but by the heartbeat of the cosmos. It is the rhythm of the one who remembers. I am not merely part of creation. I am its participant, its instrument, its artist. To live as cause is to live as light. This is not a light that burns with effort or achievement. It is the soft, steady glow of presence, of coherence, of choosing your frequency, not as reaction, but as offering. And in doing so, you step into the sacred vocation of the spiritual alchemist. An alchemist is not one who escapes the world, but one who transforms it by transforming their relationship to it. They do not deny the darkness, they illuminate it. They do not wait for safety, they become it. They understand what the Kabbalion teaches. To change your mood or mental state, change your vibration. And so, in the smallest moments, your breath, your tone of voice, your posture, your thoughts before sleep, you become the agent of sacred change. Imagine this in daily life. You wake in the morning, and before you check the world, you check your field. You tune in inward. You ask, what am I offering today? Not in fear, not in control, but in creation. Perhaps you choose stillness, perhaps joy, perhaps surrender. You breathe it in. You offer it out. You go to work. Someone speaks harshly, but instead of absorbing their echo, you offer a new tone. Not because they deserve it, but because you have chosen to live from cause. And so your day becomes not just work, but alchemy. You eat. You bless the food not from superstition, but to tune its vibration, to match your own. You encounter pain, and instead of turning from it, you listen. You ask, "What are you echoing back to me?" And in that presence, the pain begins to soften, not always into absence, but into insight. This is the mystical life. Not loud, not theatrical, but utterly profound. And then one day, you realize something has changed, not just in your circumstances, but in your center. You no longer ride the waves, you become the ocean. To live in cause is to live awake. And so a final meditation. Each time you feel helpless, breathe and say, "Even now I create." Each time you feel fear whisper, "This too is vibration I choose again." Each time you feel lost, declare, "I return to the center that never moved." You are the key, the lock, the door, the healer and the healed, the echo and the first sound. To live this way is to walk as light, to become what the world needs, not by changing the world, but by embodying the frequency that will ripple through it like dawn. And should doubt arise, as it does, simply return to the seed, to the garden, to the drop in the lake. Everything you need is already within you. Everything you long to see is waiting to respond to your song. So sing, plant, shine, choose. Not tomorrow, not when it's easy, but now. Because the mirror is listening, and it reflects not what you wish, but what you are. And what you are is divine. You have journeyed through the unseen, walked the landscapes of thought and vibration, and stood at the threshold of your own sacred authorship. What was once hidden is now remembered. You are the origin, not the echo. The cause, not the effect. This is not merely poetic. It is practical. It is your map. The laws of Hermetic wisdom are not locked in ancient texts. They are alive in your daily life, whispering through every moment of choice. You are not broken. You are blooming. The universe has always mirrored your inner song. Now let that song be love awareness and intentional light. So, take a breath, not just to inhale, but to intend. Plant the seeds you wish to see flourish. Walk each day as an alchemist in the mundane, a sculptor of frequency, a bearer of quiet miracles. And if this reflection stirred something deep within, if it reminded you of your light, share your thoughts. Speak what awakened. Subscribe to the inner path. Let others feel your echo and find their own. The world does not need more noise. It needs your true note. And now the mirror awaits.